Hi, I'm Dr. Tony Salamay. I want to show you 3 easy things that you can do to relieve your chronic pain today. Okay, so number 1 is remove food sensitivities. Removing food sensitivities is going to be very important. People don't think about chronic pain in terms of food because people usually think that it's usually due to an injury or some type of maybe stress, but chronic pain can really be due to food. And people think that, oh, well, food is usually harmless, but not really. We live in a day right now that everything is processed, everything is adulterated with, is played with, and the food that we once ate, our ancestors ate, is not the same food that we're eating today. It's laden with processed foods, MSG, all these different toxins that can really affect and cause our body to react to this food. And when we react and our immune systems attack it, or whatever reason our immune systems refuse it, it causes an inflammatory cascade. Basically, it sets off an inflammatory reaction that causes all these nerve fibers to sensitize, and it causes these nerve fibers to put out chemicals that really cause pain. So what we want to do is whatever we can do to minimize or reduce the amount of foods that we're getting in that are causing us to be sensitive to. So how are we going to know? One of the things that we can know is by doing laboratory testing. We can do laboratory testing to figure out what foods that we may be sensitive to. But one easy thing that you can do on your own without having to go to a doctor or having any lab work prescribed is you can actually do a 30-day elimination diet. And the 30-day elimination diet, remove all grains, dairy, breads, all that stuff, and soy and corn and eggs, or anything that you may be suspicious that you may be react to. So if you remove those foods for 30 days and then start reintroducing one by one at a time. If you notice that your pulse rate goes up after eating the food, maybe 10 beats or more, 8 to 10 beats or more, at least per minute, if it goes up, chances are that you may be sensitive to that food. If you feel bloated, and that could be 8 hours later, 12, 15 hours later, you may feel bloated or foggy, that could be because of the food. So another thing is we want to eat foods that are anti-inflammatory. It's very important that we consume foods that are anti-inflammatory and not pro-inflammatory. So most of our foods that we're consuming are pro-inflammatory. If we're eating outside or you're eating processed food, it's full of toxins, it's full of chemicals, and it's full of things that really cause and promote inflammation in the body. So anything that we can do to prevent that. Well, one of the things that you can start is by eating whole foods, by eating foods that are in the whole food form. Even if you're consuming grains like oats, or you're consuming any other type of grains that may not be gluten related, you can consume those as long as that they're whole food. Chances are you're not going to react as much, or you may not react at all, and that's very anti-inflammatory. So because it's got the vitamins, it's got things that it's not been bleached, it's not been stripped away. So eating foods that are whole foods is very important. And of course, you want to eat your foods that are organic, and preferably organic as much as possible, and at least natural, so you're not getting a lot of the toxicity associated with what's in the foods. Another thing is that you want to eat foods that are pro omega-3. You want foods that are rich in omega-3. So you want to eat foods that are more fish-like foods, seafood, and you want to remove you don't want to eat the foods that are high in mercury, but you want to get the good omega-3s, wild-caught salmon, for instance. You can get shrimp. These foods are really good, and they're low in mercury in general, and they can really provide a lot of benefit as far as anti-inflammatory, as well as they're very good for the brain. And another thing is, to stop the inflammation, is taking in omega-6s. So if you're reducing the intakes of omega-6s, what omega-6s are, they're a fatty acid. So we have omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9 fatty acids. In the United States, we consume a lot of omega-6s. We don't get enough omega-3s. So when you have more omega-6s and less omega-3s, what ends up happening, you end up tipping that balance, then you become much more inflammatory. So when you have omega-3s, omega-3s carry EPA and DHA, which are 2 different fatty acids. EPA is very anti-inflammatory. So when you take in omega-3s and you get a lot of that EPA, especially from like fish or flax seeds or chia seeds, you're gonna counter off that inflammation. You wanna try to get a ratio of 1 to 1. Unfortunately, in our society, we're getting more like 25 to 50 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. You can get omega-3s also in walnuts. Those are also type of, they're rich in omega-3s. So as far as the nuts family. So those things can be very, very, very helpful. The food sensitivities, the most common ones is the gluten, the dairy, the soy, eggs, and corn. So those are the most common food sensitivities that if you're starting to embark on a 30-day elimination diet, start removing those foods. And lastly, third, is the supplements. You can do supplements that can really, really help support inflammation. It can help support anti-inflammation. So like boswellia, turmeric, white willow, which also acts like aspirin. So those can be analgesics. So boswellia is actually an herb. It's an Indian frankincense. That's what it is. It's not the frankincense that we do know. It's actually the frankincense that's in India and the Arabian areas. And that herb has been really shown to really help with inflammation, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, also all types of different arthritis that can affect our bodies and cause all that inflammation. And it's really, really known for joint inflammation. So boswellia is one of my favorites. And also, you want to take about 300 milligrams to 400 milligrams of boswellia if you have a lot of chronic pain. But you want to take at least 300 to 400 milligrams, and you probably can do them 2 to 3 times a day. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not taking place of your medical doctor. I'm just giving you, some suggestions as far as what the suggested doses are. Turmeric is an amazing anti-pain strategy that you can take as far as supplement-wise. It is not only anti-inflammatory, it's anti-cancerous, it's healthy for your blood vessels, it's healthy for your nerves. It's an amazing anti-inflammatory and anti-pain strategy that you can do. So taking in turmeric, I would recommend taking about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of turmeric, but you really want to use the piperine, or you want to use the BCM95 technology with the essential oils with the turmeric, because what happens is it makes the turmeric much more bioavailable, and that you're going to absorb that much better. So if you just take regular turmeric, like the turmeric that we use as spices that just turn, the rice color, yellow or what have you, that is not going to be very absorbable, but you can make that 1,000, 2,000% more absorbable by adding in the black pepper extract, which is the piperine, or doing the BCM95. So both work really well. The most recent studies have shown that BCM95, the essential oils with the rhizomes, the roots of the turmeric, and included with the turmeric, is much more bioavailable and even more potent than other forms of black pepper extract and turmeric. So these are things that you can do. Another thing that's become really popular is CBD. So CBD oil is cannabidiol, and it's basically from the hemp plant. But they are now, it is pretty much, where it was pretty much legal in all 50 states, as long as does not have any THC. So I would check your state and see what they allow. But I know, I live in Florida, and I know as long as it's less than 0.3, then you're okay. So you won't get of course, you're not going to get the high even if it was 0.2 or 0.3. But as long as it's less than 0.3, then it's legal and people can consume it. We have them in the forms of cream, we have them in oils, and we have them in gummies. So they're all different types of ways that you can consume the CBD, but CBD is very, very good, and it's very anti-inflammatory. So these are one of my favorite supplements for pain and for inflammation. And the prime things is just make sure that you're not taking in things that are pro-inflaming you. So you don't want things that are going to start triggering this whole inflammation, number one. And number two, then employ these strategies such as these supplements that I've mentioned, and following an anti-inflammatory diet, and you'll be on your way to feeling better. So anyway, if you guys really like this information, want more videos from me, please leave a comment below, and please hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification. And I just want to thank you for tuning in and listening to what I have to say. I hope that you get a lot of value out of this video, and I certainly want to wish you a great day. Thank you.